In this video, we will perform a full avionics setup on G1000 avionics. This would be an example of an IFR flight, a training IFR flight to Ostrava via a certain route, an arrival, and then following with an approach. So after we have started up the engine, we have received the QNH and we can start with the QNH. So our QNH for today is 1025, so we need to change it. So we turn the outer knob here and move it. We have QNH 1025 set and we cross-check that the altitude displayed in the altimeter is the airport elevation. In our case, it's almost 800 feet, which corresponds. You would also set your standby altimeter, the mechanical altimeter, and also you would set the pressure in the autopilot if the autopilot is not integrated in the G1000. Next, you would set your heading bug to the runway heading. So the runway in use today is 33, so we would set the heading bug to the runway heading, and the runway heading precisely is 331. So we set the runway heading 331. Now our target altitude is flight level 70, so we go to the altitude selector and we set the altitude so that we see here 7,000 feet. Okay, so we select 7,000 feet. So that's done. After that, we want to set our transponder code, which we received by calling on FIC Praha. So our current transponder code is VFR and we want to change it to the code 3355. So we go to XPDR code, we just press 3355 and that's it. After that, we want to set our communication frequencies. So our communications are located here. So our should be like this. Our active frequency right now in COM1 is 122005. That's the frequency of CRAL radio. And in the standby, we want to set the next frequency. The next frequency was also told to us by the FIC Praha, and in this case today it's 136.175. So we would set 136.175. Okay. In the COM2, if we select the COM2, we should select the emergency frequency 1 to 1.5 and we will monitor it. So for now, do not monitor it, but later as you take off and you activate your IFR flight plan, you already have some, let's say, capacity. You would start monitoring the distress frequency. Next, we want to set up the navigation radios. Usually we don't use 4 different nav aids. So what we normally would do is we would set identical nav aids in both nav1 and nav2. So we are going to Ostrava. The en route guidance to get to Ostrava would be a VOR, which is Oscar Tango Alpha VOR, has a frequency 117.45. So I would set 117.45, put it to active. Okay, you can see it has been identified. This is not very realistic because normally it would be identified when we're in the air and we're a little bit closer to it. In the standby, we would set Oscar Sierra Victor ILS of Ostrava. So 110.905 is already set there. And now we would just set the same exact frequencies to the nav2. So 117.45 and 110.905 set. Okay. The next thing would be to set the flight plan. To set up the flight plan, it's much easier to move to the MFD, press flight plan, and now first we will select the first waypoint of our flight plan, basically the departure airport. So press the FMS knob and select Lima Kilo Hotel Kilo. Hradec Králové. Enter. Alright, so now we want to enter the next waypoint, and the next waypoint would be the Hotel Lima Victor NDB, which is an old waypoint that was used for the arrival to Ostrava. So we would select Hotel Lima V. Okay, so we have Holešov NDB, press enter. Okay, sometimes you will see something like this. So we have two waypoints with the same name. One is an NDB in Czech Republic, which is the one we want, and there is also a VOR in the USA, which we don't want. So we will select the one that's in Czech Republic, just press enter. Okay, now you can see already we have a first leg. Now, after that, after this waypoint, we want to select the destination airport, which would be Ostrava Mošnov, Lima Kilo Mike Tango. So just enter the ICAO code here, Lima Kilo Mike Tango, Mošnov, Ostrava, enter. Okay. So now you can see that the next leg of the flight plan is just a direct leg from Hotel Lima Victor directly to the center of the airport. But we want an instrument arrival. So we select Lima Kilo Mike Tango by turning the FMS knob. Now we press procedure. And if we know the arrival for sure, we would select the arrival. Press enter, and now we want to select our arrival. So we would go, because we are approaching from the point of Holešov, Hotel Lima Victor NDB, we would select one of those two arrivals. So just move the selection to the arrival, and you can see right here there is Holešov 1 Tango, Hotel Lima Victor 1 Tango arrival. We will select that, press enter. And it's asking us if we want to load it, press enter again. And now you can see that the arrival right here will take me directly towards the Oscar Tango Alpha VOR. Okay, now we go back to the flight plan, and if we want to select an approach, go back to flight plan, press procedure, select approach, press enter, and now we want an ILS for runway 22 approach. So we have the ILS 22 already selected, we press enter, and now it's asking us which initial approach fix we want to select, or if we want to select vectors to final. So we want to select, remember our last waypoint is Oscar Tango Alpha VOR, so we want to select an initial approach fix Oscar Tango Alpha. You see there is two options. One option will take me on this huge procedure, which is reserved for faster airplanes. Our airplane is slow, so we would want to select this procedure that is not so big. So this would be the procedure that we want to select. I press enter again. Now it's asking us to select the minimums, and we have barometric minimums. Basically it means that there is a certain minimum pressure or more specifically minimum altitude above mean sea level. And we need to move the FMS knob to select the altitude, and we'll just put some random altitude there, but you would select the precise minima that you have in your approach chart. Press enter. Now it's asking us to load or to activate. We want to load it, because if we activate it, it will directly activate the approach from the initial approach phase, and we don't want that. So we will load it, enter. Now, because this is not an RNAV approach, it's not approved for GPS. What does it mean? This is an ILS approach, and it should be flown according to conventional navigation. But GPS can be used as a guidance, which is what it is warning us about. So we'll just press yes. And after this, this is how your flight plan will look like. So the first leg is from Lima Kilo Hotel Kilo to Hotel Lima Victor. After that, we have an arrival via Polom to Oscar Tango Alpha, and the Oscar Tango Alpha is where our approach begins. And then we have numerous waypoints inside the approach, and the last point of the approach is the missed approach point. Okay. Let's say I want to remove Hotel Lima Victor and go directly to Polom. How do I do that? So I have Hotel Lima Victor selected. I press clear. And now it's asking me, do you want to remove Hotel Lima Victor? And I press OK. And now Hotel Lima Victor is removed. But because I have a direct to function selected here, the GPS will still be taking me directly to Hotel Lima Victor. So I need to remove that. How do I do it? I press direct to, I press menu, and I need to cancel direct to navigation. So enter. And now the leg is taking me from Lima Kilo Hotel Kilo directly to Polom. You can see it right there. Here. If I want to just completely remove the whole flight plan, I would press menu, and I would I need to go first to flight plan, menu, and I would delete the flight plan. Let's say I want to completely invert it. I want to do it in the opposite order. So I would go to invert flight plan, press enter, and I would invert the flight plan. Because you can't invert an approach or an arrival, the inverted flight plan basically means that it will be taking me from Lima Kilo Mike Tango to Lima Kilo Hotel Kilo. So, and finally we can clear the whole flight plan. So after we have set our flight plan, we're almost ready to go, and one last thing we need to make sure is that we have the correct guidance of the airplane. So remember, we have set our flight plan to guide us according to a GPS. So we need to select the appropriate CDI display. So right now the CDI is displaying localizer 1, which is not even relevant right now. We are just departing the airport and continuing on our en route phase. So we need to press CDI one more time, and now you can see that the CDI of the GPS is displayed, and this is what will guide us to our waypoint and to along our arrival.